Welcome to the J Squared Horror Podcast, where two lifelong horror fans talk all things horror. Pour yourself your favorite drink and hang out. Here are your hosts, Josh and Jake.
Hey guys, welcome to the J Squared Horror Podcast. My name's Josh.
And I'm Jake.
And on today's episode, we are going to be talking about
2018's Slaughterhouse Rulez, directed by Crispy and Mills.
And produced by Stolen Pictures, which we'll get into why that is important in a second.
Yeah.
But first, as always, what would we like to let anyone new to the J Squared Horror Podcast know?
And to our new listeners and watchers, always like and subscribe on YouTube.
Yes.
You can find us on also Spotify.
Yep.
Apple.
Yep.
Google.
Yep.
And Anchor.
We're on those.
You can also find us on Instagram. J Squared Horror Podcast. Link tree in the bio. New episodes every Thursday.
Every single Thursday. And this week, also, on Friday the 13th, we're going to release a first time ever special episode in honor of the holiday and the great franchise of Friday the 13th.
Yes, we are.
We are two lifelong horror fans that decide to get together and talk all things horror, where we combine personal stories, life, themes, movies, whatever we decide, to keep you guys highly entertained for about 45 minutes to an hour every single Thursday, and including a Friday.
Yep.
So, this movie is definitely fits the vibe of like a Shaun of the Dead or a Cornetto trilogy. Not all of those were horror, so I just mentioned the one horror one. But the interesting thing is why I mentioned the fact that it's by Stolen Pictures is that is Nick Frost and Simon Pegg's baby. That is their production company. Now, they did say in an interview that they did not solely produce this. It was included with like Sony Films and other things.
Okay.
But it was the first time that they used their business in this capacity.
Nice.
They've also done a couple of TV shows. I know one was on Amazon. It was like a ghost hunting, like delivery driver type show that I watched completely in one day.
The whole season? Or
Whole season.
in one day?
One day.
Yikes.
I called out of work and was like, this looks interesting, and just watched it. I think I got out of the couch to get some like chicken tendies.
You called out of work?
Yeah.
To watch
I had
this.
heard about it, and I like checked it out the night before, and I said, you know what? I'm not going to go to work tomorrow. I'm going to watch this entire series. And I did that.
All right.
When I was a salesman, I got away with stuff like that because I was good at sales. So they're just like, Josh is being Josh.
Just like Manny being Manny.
Yeah, you know. And so I was super excited about this film because, as you guys know, probably from when we covered Shaun of the Dead many episodes ago, Shaun of the Dead is one of the greatest horror comedies / horror movies that have ever existed. Simon Pegg?
Yeah.
I don't know why his name just left my head. When you put these microphones in front of us, my brain just goes, what?
Simon says?
Simon says it's Simon Pegg. Simon Pegg and Nick Frost have a just amazing chemistry.
They do.
That kind of reminds me of Jake and I sometimes. I mean, obviously we're not actors and we're not celebrities, but as you
Not yet.
as you get to see they have a legitimate friendship, and obviously starting a company together. They've been friends for a long time. They've done great films together. But like Simon Pegg, they use their platform to bring awareness to stuff. Like in this movie, it's fracking. Like that's a legitimate problem over there in the UK.
The fracking?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, like fracking is a legit problem where they are. And during one of the interviews, they talked about like how some fracking protesters got arrested and like they had just approved an area that it was illegal to frack on right like as this movie was being released. They're like, we got kind of lucky because like it was happening like right then. And it's an actual issue. So I wrote down a couple quotes from an interview
All right.
that I've seen, and they were talking about like why they choose to like kind of go the horror route. Like, have they ever thought about like branching out and doing other stuff? And they said they're completely open to doing like a drama, but horror is something that they're so used to and comfortable with that
Drama.
just to use their platform to kind of
Okay.
do whatever they don't want to be super categorized as like one thing because they have been for a long time.
Yeah, okay.
Especially the duo of them.
Yeah.
So he says horror is by nature a very metaphorical. It always has been. It's a great way to kind of, rehearse fears and ideas through sort of a phantasmagority without being too kind of realistic.
Okay.
Then he also says horror has always been a good way of dealing with certain existential terrors.
I agree with that.
So, yes, basically he's just trying to say that you can use a horror platform a lot easier than like a drama or like a serious movie because it kind of takes the reality out of it for some people because it is like a fictional horror-based movie. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, dropping in things that are really happening but doing it in a way to where like not only can you bring awareness, but it's not like forced down your throat. It's just a part of the movie. Yeah. And then you can still have fun with the horror connotations and the blood and the gore that everybody loves. So it was cool hearing him talk about that because I know like zombie movies are notoriously known for like matching the era of like what's going on. And then, with movies like Paul and like Hot Fuzz, they all have deeper meanings. And people in the UK, it always seems like, are very woke, as it's called. They're very aware of what's going on in their country, and they're very vocal and loud about it. Okay. So I thought it was cool that they got to use their platform for that.
As soon as you read that or made that comparison, my first thought was George A. Romero, Night of the Living Dead.
Yep.
That's the first thing I thought of.
So it's being able to put in those deeper meanings, but not forcing it down your throat.
Yeah.
And directors can go on and say, "Oh, I didn't mean to do that," but come on.
Which is what he said.
George Romero definitely said that. So, this movie is a boarding house. Is that what it's called? Boarding school? Boarding school, not boarding house. Boarding school, coming of age monster movie, where basically there is a school called Slaughterhouse, and
which is an interesting name for a school.
Yeah, and I always thought like obviously I just finished Wednesday recently, so you think of Nevermore, the school in that, but it's not. It's a legitimate school. It just has an interesting title, and then this movie it obviously fits in. But having Simon Pegg, Nick Frost, the guy that plays the Bat, and some other actors and actresses sprinkled in throughout this movie was cool because they all do a really good job, but it's basically just a coming-of-age kid in a school that he doesn't necessarily want to be in, he doesn't fit in at, and then it turns into a monster classic almost. Like, it's definitely a slow burn.
I was just about to say, dude.
Definitely a slow burn for the first
hour.
Yeah, first hour I'd say. It was a lot of that coming-of-age buildup of like the dynamics of the people. And this particular main character's, being bullied or what have you. And I think that being that we're both in our 30s, something we've definitely already worked through in our lives. Not something we necessarily relate to too much. But I am happy that, if there are any of that age horror fans out there, this is it would actually be a very enjoyable watch for you guys. I'd say for some of our older fans, it might be a little tough at the beginning, getting through some of that like high school. But I mean, honestly, if you liked Wednesday, I'd say you could enjoy this movie for sure.
So I've never seen or haven't seen yet Wednesday.
Yeah,
but this movie when it first started, dude, it was painful.
It's not painful.
I paused 30 minutes into it. I was like, dude, nothing has happened yet.
Yeah, there's been movies that we've watched that like The Mutilator, for instance. That movie took a fucking hour to get anything started.
It didn't take an hour.
Yeah, it did.
No, it didn't.
Yeah, it did.
An hour?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
It starts out with the kid killing his mom.
Okay, the one.
That's right in
the
movie.
But after that, it's a no burn. It's not even a slow burn.
I don't think so.
At least this movie had good acting and actresses.
Acting was good. I'll give you that.
Yeah.
The acting was good.
It's just because, so when you watch the preview, you expect it to be a lot quicker pace than it is.
Even 45, I'm like, dude, what? Something gonna happen at any point?
Yeah, and it's like there's like hinting at like what's to come because of the fracking, But yeah, it takes a while to get there. It is a character build for sure. But I think it's unfair to say that it was painful. I mean, I enjoyed. I mean, I accepted the fact because it's my boys.
You accepted or you enjoyed it?
I can enjoy it after I accept the fact that it's a slow burn. You just have to kind of process through it, like in the moment.
Once I accept it, I can start to enjoy it.
Yeah. Once I was like, oh, this is what this is going to be for a little bit. All right.
I paused this at hour 45, hour 41.
Yeah.
Like length of the movie. We're an hour into it. Nothing's happened.
You just got a brutal 40 minutes left, baby.
It took me 4 hours to watch this movie.
It took you 4 hours to watch it?
Dude. I would pause it. I'd go to the bathroom. So I started it this morning at like 9 o'clock. I got up, found it, put it on.
It's on Amazon.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah.
Put it on. Okay. 20 minutes go by. All right, well, maybe we'll get there. 30 go by. I'm not a big Uber Eats or DoorDash kind of person.
Nah, it's too expensive.
I'm like, I downloaded that. I'm thinking, I don't want to leave, but I'm getting hungry. This movie it's not catching me at all.
Yeah.
So I paused it. I left, got something to eat, came back, played it. I'm eating while I'm watching it. And I usually never pause movies.
Yeah.
Even when we used to record at my house.
Yeah.
We watch movies together.
Yeah.
You'd get up. I wouldn't pause it.
You would not pause it. I'd have to be like, bro, can you pause it for a second?
Yeah. But I'm like, this isn't doing anything for me. Which I'm the kind of person, if within the first 30 minutes nothing is happening,
You're almost out.
I'm out.
Yeah.
It tends to lose my interest pretty quick.
Yeah. But you stuck through for the podcast.
I stuck through because later in the movie, it does get good.
Turns into a good monster flick.
It gets funny too.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like, so you have, the only way to break that first hour or so down is character building. I mean, that is all it is. But they do character build through it. So it's not like it's pointless. It's just too long.
Yeah. I'm not watching horror movies for character building.
Not always. But, it depends on, like, I guess it just depends on the reasoning behind it. Like, why the directors or writers or creators decided to go that route. And in this instance, I think it is because it had such a deeper meaning that they kind of, not only fracking, but like, boarding schools and not a lot of shit we deal with like in our realm of the world. Like we're public school guys, which builds way more character than any boarding school could ever imagine to, unless it's like Nevermore from Wednesday.
Nevermore?
Yeah.
Just like an Edgar Allan Poe thing?
Yeah, there's a lot of Edgar Allan Poe references to Wednesday.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yep. In the TV show, yeah.
I gotta check it out.
It is really good. Wednesday was a fun. Wednesday's a lot more to the masses than Slaughterhouse Rulez. So the interesting thing about Slaughterhouse Rulez and some other little factoids I wanted to bring you guys into because I knew this is the route Jake was going to go. Backing Jake's statement, it has a whopping 38% on Rotten Tomatoes. It did $4,665 domestically.
What?
Its budget was $5.2 million.
Wait, is it $4,000
domestically? Worldwide, it did $726,000.
Hold on. What does that mean domestically? What does that
I think
mean?
that means the States.
$4,000?
Yeah, in the States.
That doesn't make sense to me.
I think it was straight to on demand. I don't think it was theatrically released.
So you can do that in an hour.
Yeah. The technical budget was $6.3 million because I found out that was in like pounds and I had to do some conversions. So the movie did horribly. It did really bad, which it kind of breaks my heart because, Simon Pegg and Nick Frost did Stolen Pictures together. And this is their first time doing a movie together, and I think they went a certain route, maybe for like younger horror fans or what have you. But at the end of the day, as much as I got enjoyment out of this movie, it is a slow burn. And luckily, the monster part, once the fucking moles come out of the ground and start eating people, I would have turned it off if that didn't happen. Pretty when it did. It was borderline. For guys that are fans that watch a lot of horror movies and stuff, like, you do have certain expectations. You aren't looking for some fucking art piece all the time. You aren't looking for all of that character build up. It was a lot of the, like I said, coming of age shit, which is fine. Like, it has a place in some capacity, but cut that shit in half. Speed it up a little bit more. We didn't need some of this whole, like, why the kid before the kid died and, like, why it upset the other. Like, I don't give a shit. I'm just ready to get to these moles eating people.
Well, all of that they could have done in 20 minutes.
Yeah, and it was definitely, and then there's like this they're called like gods and goddesses, and like they got to have like orgies and shit. Don't know what deeper meaning that has.
Yeah, it was like a Greek thing, like a Rome, Greece.
Yeah, I mean, I get that, but like, it's a boarding school.
Yeah.
And they're having a legitimate orgy with people tied up.
Well, I don't live in the UK, so
I don't either.
I don't know
so
what it's like.
if we have any UK fans out there, speak up.
Is that what it's like?
I might move to the UK and go back to school.
To me, it gave off like Harry Potter meets like those dog things from Ghostbusters.
Oh yeah, that's exactly what they looked like.
Yeah.
And I think Simon Pegg was like a house guy, like a teacher / house guy. And he was not, but it's funny because guess who he's married to, or who he's dating in this movie. I don't know how they pulled this off because it's in 2018.
Yeah,
they got Margot Robbie to be in this movie. I mean,
I didn't know she was in it.
Oh yeah, I don't think she's credited.
Really?
She's only on the like Skype calls.
Yeah.
So I think I don't know if they're like friends with. I know isn't she from the UK? Isn't she like British or something?
No idea.
Yeah, I don't know too much about Margot Robbie either. Somehow, some way, they pulled off having Margot Robbie as part of this movie, and she's just like a teacher that he was in love with. That he then she moved and he didn't follow her, and like this shows that like Nick Frost just like or not Simon Pegg is just like this hopeless romantic. He's like blubbering and crying, drinking wine, realizing that he's probably lost his girl to this really hot doctor that just walked behind the camera. So it's like, I don't know why they sprinkled that in there either.
I don't know why either, but I felt so bad for him. I thought, damn.
He's a legitimate good dude.
Yeah, he's
he
a good
cares
dude.
about everyone.
Yeah.
And it just shows you that sometimes women don't care to give that guy the time of day. So the monsters.
Yeah.
Why are you so
I'm
like
not.
lackluster over here?
I'm not.
Yeah, you are. You were just sitting with your head down, shaking it. It's not that bad.
I was having a somber moment for.
In
Simon
honor of
Pegg's
Simon,
character.
we should pour some of our drinks out on the floor for him.
Yeah, pour it out for Simon.
So now we're getting into the nitty gritty of the movie. We got through all the bullshit that we didn't necessarily care for. So these fracking is like somehow getting gas from underneath the earth or something. I didn't do research on fracking, but that was a little beyond what I wanted to talk about. They end up, I guess, opening a portal to hell, or also just like these massive fucking moles that are carnivores. So they come out of the ground and start eating people. And then there's an annoying thing.
Wait, they're moles?
That's what they look like to me.
Oh, they were dogs.
No, they're not dogs.
No.
No, dude. They had the weird front teeth. Have you ever seen a mole?
Yeah.
That's kind of what they look like.
I'm still dogs from Ghostbusters.
I mean, yeah, the key master and the
the key
holder?
master and the gatekeeper.
Gatekeeper. Yeah. So the frustrating thing is you get through this entire character building, and then you finally get where the monsters are coming, and it's like this weird like POV from the monster's eyeball.
Hated that.
It was annoying.
It looked like shit.
It looked terrible. I mean, like, our camera quality is not the greatest. We know this.
Yeah, you guys also.
But you guys did a $6.3 million budget where you're doing this weird POV, but like in like infrared. Like, I guess it's because they're subterranean, so they're gonna not have normal eyeballs, which comes into play in a little bit, like 10 minutes, because it's now quick pace. So then you just see like the cliche blood splatter, kind of across where they're eating people. I was trying to stand up for my guys here.
Stand up for him.
And I mean, you can enjoy it. I just think it's not for our age group or our fandom per se.
I'm not sure if it's
because I think like a kid could get enjoyment out of it.
for anybody.
I think a kid could.
I don't think so.
10, 11, 12-year-old?
That first hour, they're out.
No, that's important to them. That's what they're going through. As 31-year-olds, we don't relate to that at all.
So you can see
They're
a
30-year-olds. I'm 31.
You can see a 13-year-old think, you know something? I get where it's coming from.
Yeah.
I don't.
I want to be with the pretty goddess.
I mean,
I'm getting bullied in school. Those are all relatable topics. What it has to do with a monster movie? With
nothing.
moles? And fracking? Not sure. There's power trips. There's that. So you got the monsters. And then you got the kids in the school. They're all supposed to go home, but like some didn't. And like the main character got in trouble, so he had to stay behind. And so that's like why they're there. So like the mass casualty effect didn't happen, which is cool. But then you start like the orgy part. That's actually part of when the monsters are attacking, or the moles. Monster moles. Dog monster moles. There we go.
There you go.
And it's weird. There's like some sexual activities going on. I don't even know if I could talk about this. It was so funny. You know what scene I'm talking about?
Where?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I do that.
Yeah. I guess we can't. No, that's too descriptive.
I mean, it depends on how you phrase it. So
Yeah, but you can't really phrase it because it's like super specific and like it's so funny though.
Well, let's just skip over it then.
Oh man, if you guys watch the movie, you'll know what we're talking
Yeah,
about.
we don't want to have any issues.
Yeah, no, that's too. Yeah, that's too, just.
It's a little.
Damn it.
Yeah.
There is a so they're trying to get this girl's brother who's part of this orgy, and so they have to like go over there, and then a bunch of people are dying, a bunch of people getting eaten, and then Simon Pegg's character finally woke up from his drunken slumber, which I've been there. I get it. I haven't been the head of a school, but he was real sad, put himself to sleep with some wine.
Well, first of all, I didn't know that was her brother.
I thought it was her boyfriend.
Nothing earlier on leads to that being her brother.
Yeah, that's the point, because the guy, the main character,
Yeah,
dude,
but
was supposed to think it was.
Has to make sense though.
No, it doesn't.
Why not?
They're just close. Maybe UK brothers and sisters do hold each other's arms
Yeah. Okay.
in
whatever.
some capacity or another.
They could.
They could. I don't know. I don't walk around with my sister arm in arm.
You don't?
No, not something we do normally.
Yeah. I don't either.
So, it is cool though, because when they first find the moles, yeah, this movie's tough to cover. This is not. You guys have probably already turned this off by now.
Like they would have the movie 30 minutes into it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We're right. We're basically just the podcast version of Slaughterhouse Rulez right now.
Cut it off.
It's cool because this girl is like meant to be like this like perfectly prim and proper, and she meets like a baby version of this mole meat monster creature, and it like attacks her, and then she puts that thing in a shirt and beats it to a pulp on a rock.
Why is there a baby version?
Because they're just from the ground, right? They just came up. They were just hiking a ride on mommy and daddy.
That's the only one that we've seen.
Yeah, the other ones might be down there still. They might grow really quickly, like an evolution. Maybe they took some notes from evolution because those monsters were growing quick. Remember that dog thing in the pantry?
That could be
in
it.
the closet?
Okay, all right. I'll overlook it.
They're subterranean creatures, man. They don't make any sense.
Subterranean creatures.
Yeah, you know what subterranean is?
Subterranean.
Under the earth.
Okay,
Yeah.
thanks.
That's like in our area, we deal with the eastern subterranean
Oh,
termite.
Okay. Well, now I feel fucking dumb. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. And they say it a couple times in the movie, too. I'm pretty sure the girl that's good at chess explains it just like that.
That is how uninterested I was.
I get
that
it.
I didn't know what it meant. They explained what it meant.
Sometimes I give it the benefit of the doubt for the podcast, and I try to sit here with you and give it but you just fucking said fuck it, And I'm just gonna shit all over Josh's movie selection.
No, so I tried to like this movie. One, I like Simon Pegg. I like Nick Frost.
I do too.
But I mean, it's just not a good movie. Which is okay. Everyone makes bad movies sometimes.
Yeah, you're definitely we have bad episodes.
You said it's the first one, right?
This is their first movie.
Okay,
yes.
yeah. Maybe the next one be better. Maybe we'll see a Shaun of the Dead too.
I hope not.
Really?
It's perfection.
Okay.
There's really no way to go on, Pat. It would be Shaun that got through the dead.
Maybe Shaun has kids.
But it can't be horror.
Why not?
What's it going to be, another zombie apocalypse?
Yeah.
No,
Or something
that's
else.
Stupid. Vampires.
Or something else.
Vampires.
Vampires. That's dumb too.
I love vampires.
You love vampires?
Sure, why not? They're real. They're amongst us.
Vampires are real?
Yeah, man.
Are zombies real?
They could be.
But are they?
What about that face eater on bath salts?
That was my thought process.
Hey, man.
So they're real.
That's why we have a podcast. I think these microphones connect to our brains and we share thoughts sometimes.
But mummies, unfortunately, are not a thing.
They were in the Egyptian times.
Yeah, but imagine seeing
Fuck around, find out is what mummies are.
seeing a mummy now. Because in my mind, they'd be wrapped in toilet paper.
Yeah.
Even though they wouldn't be.
It's not
I get
technical
that.
toilet paper.
Yeah.
But immediately you're like, just a guy covered in poo tissue.
I'll just grab you and spin you around.
And then you turn to dust.
Yeah.
Now, if those fucking Beatles from the Mummy movie came out, I'd be scared. They'd
Those are good movies.
crawl up in your brain.
You see Brendan Fraser making a comeback.
The Whale. I need to watch that movie.
Yeah, I heard it's really
I
good.
heard it's really, really good.
Yeah.
He's Oscar nominated. Not that we care.
He was good in George of the Jungle, too.
Ironically enough, he was.
Yeah.
He's a really good George of the Jungle.
Yeah. Remember that movie, Bedazzled?
Loved it.
Good movie.
It's horror. It's got the devil. We can talk about it. All right. So the you guys aren't gonna watch this movie or this episode. I just came to the realization I might have just hurt our podcast a little with this selection. The preview looked really good. I went for it.
It did. The trailer, I'll give you that. 'Cause we sat here and watched it.
I wanted to cover it.
It did look good.
And I've been scratching and clawing for fun information that I thought we could talk about more. It has not worked. This is when unscripting podcast takes a turn for the worst.
What do you mean it has not? It has worked.
I mean, this is not our best work, and I'm okay to say that.
I mean, I wouldn't say it's not our best work. It's Simon Pegg and Nick Frost's.
It is Simon Pegg and Nick Frost, but they
make that movie for this podcast.
They didn't contact us before releasing.
Maybe they should have.
I did email them though. I emailed Stolen Pictures to see if they'd come on the podcast, but I'm guessing after releasing this, that's going to be a far shot.
Well, maybe we can talk about it, all four of us.
I mean, I'd love to. Could you imagine sitting down with Nick Frost and Simon Pegg?
I cannot.
I bet that would be. We would break the internet with just the humor.
I think we would.
Yeah,
That'd be good.
I think we'd ping off of all of each other very well.
We should try that.
I mean, I literally emailed the company.
You should. Okay, well, maybe
They're
they'll respond.
They're not going to respond because I got back an automated email that had like 15 different rules, and I'm pretty sure we broke one of them.
Rules?
Yeah, of like why you're allowed to email this email. Yeah,
There's rules to being able to email someone?
yeah. And then I looked into how to contact Nick or Simon Pegg, and then I could just mail him a letter, and then they would just send me an autographed picture. But I had to include a postage for it and a big enough envelope.
Okay.
It said contact. I said, "Ooh, I want to contact Simon Pegg," and then it was just like, "Yeah, if you're in the United States, mail this shit to Tennessee. We'll send you a picture back."
Tennessee.
Yeah, I guess it goes to the UK from Tennessee. I don't know.
That's weird.
I don't know how parcels work.
Okay.
So should we even continue talking about the movie, or
I think we should. We gotta finish the
we
episode.
gotta wrap up the movie?
Yeah.
So they go hide in a bunker. This army guy that was a bully the entire time comes in there.
He was fucking nuts.
He was mean as shit, dude. And
So his blonde hair remind me of Harry Potter too.
yeah, I'm not a big Harry Potter.
I'm not either, but that guy.
Kid's
You
name,
know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, from Slytherin. I think that was the name of his
Yes.
class.
Slytherin and what's the other people?
You had I'm a Hufflepuff when I took the test,
Oh, okay.
and then there's Gryffindor, which is the main homies.
Gryffindor.
Yeah.
Darko?
Oh, you're
Is that
close.
his name? Darko?
Donnie Darko.
That's good. That's a good
That's
movie.
a really good movie.
Let's cover that.
Better than this.
Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, so basically some shit happens, and then Simon Pegg dies. So you think.
Dun, dun, dun.
It was sad to see Shaun from Shaun of the Dead get fucked up so bad, but he was a hero. He did it for the kids.
Did he eat his arm or something?
They ate his arm, and then he was like, yep, guys, sorry, I'm going to go. And then they pulled him over the wall. And then you thought that Nick Frost had already died.
I thought they blew him up.
Yeah. I thought the helicopter fell on him.
Because
remember, he's looking up through his tent.
I thought they were putting a bomb in the tent. Because you see that thing coming into the tent.
No, it's the helicopter crashing, I thought. Because he looks up and he's like, it's a dragon. Because he's tripping on shrooms. Which is a very Nick Frost thing to do. Because even in Shaun of the Dead, like, he's selling weed throughout the movie. And now he's another drug dealer. You kids want some drugs?
I like how he starts with that. Says his whole monologue. And then
right at the end, he's like, come on, let's go get some drugs. And then he's in the tunnels that you find out are there. And some crazy shit happens, and he sacrifices himself.
Is he a good guy or a bad guy?
He's a good guy.
Okay.
He's a sad guy, but he's a good guy.
Okay, you said he went down there to blow up the school.
Yeah, it's been his plan since he was a teenager when his brother went missing. Did his brother get eaten by those things, you think? They never really.
It never says that, but
They had to have been way deeper than that, though, because they would have gotten out way before that if they were right there.
Yeah, I think maybe he just got lost and died.
And then,
like those catacombs in Paris.
The descent.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, then you find out they survive, all the kids. And then you find out that, in fact, Simon Pegg made it.
With one arm.
One arm and somehow not getting, maybe he didn't taste good enough.
And a bullet hole in the thigh.
He did get shot. The fact that kid was allowed to have real guns blew my mind.
Well, he's a lunatic.
He's a god. He's a house god. That's what he was called. All right, Jake, I'm ready for it. Oh, here we go.
What you ready for?
Here we go. We covered the movie as best we can.
We did?
On a scale.
Ooh, ratings time.
On a scale from 1 to 10, 1 being Jason Takes Manhattan, 10 being Shaun of the Dead, where would you rate Slaughterhouse Rulez?
On a scale from 1 to 10, Slaughterhouse Rulez, for me, is a 4. It's slightly under an average movie.
Damn.
Yeah.
All right.
What about you?
On a scale from 1 to 10, Slaughterhouse Rulez is a 3.5.
Okay, so we're about the same.
About the same. You gave it a little bit more because I think you're trying to be nice to me. That's why I'm happy I got to get mine out after you.
Well, no, I gave it a 4 because, like I said, 5 is my average movie.
Yeah, and I think because of the slow burn, I have to drop it a little bit lower than a 4.
It was just so hard to get through.
I have to drop it a little bit lower than a 4 out of respect for cinema. Out of respect for my podcast and my name. I have to. No matter how much I love whoever did it, their reasoning behind it, I have to judge the movie for the movie. I have to take some of that stuff out of it. And I feel like if they would have shortened up that stuff and then brought in the monsters earlier and had a bigger battle between the characters. Because sometimes in monster movies, the fucking people are battling these monsters for an hour.
Yeah.
Whereas in this movie, they're battling life and then monsters quickly at the end.
Yeah. Didn't like that.
And then blow it up with a lighter that was always brought up. The foreshadowing in this movie was ridiculous.
It was. It really was.
So, we rated it what we rated it.
Yep.
So, now we get to the fun part that none of you guys hear. As you know from last week, if you made it this far into the episode, this week, if you say, Josh can also not pick movies, in the comment section down below, you will be mailed a custom koozie by the J Squared Horror Podcast. Also in big news, we did mention this earlier, but we are covering a Friday the 13th, part 2 for Friday the 13th. So not only when you hear this on Thursday, you will be ready for another episode the very next day. We'll have brand new content for you guys.
We will.
And as starting 2023 with some new vibes, excuse me, after this one, and then Friday the 13th part 2, which we're going to be covering, we already know what we're covering next week.
We're ahead of the game.
We are ahead of the game. So you guys can make sure to watch these movies, prepare to listen to us, and join in for all the fun conversations that we have here on the podcast. Next Thursday, we will be releasing an episode on
Signs.
directed by M. Night Shyamalan. Got it. Yeah, so going forward, we're going to try to prepare you guys for every new episode coming out so we can all kind of get through this together. Make sure, like Jake said earlier on in the episode, like and subscribe on YouTube. Follow along on all of our streaming services. We are also available on Instagram, J Squared Horror Podcast, Linktree in bio, where we will be releasing all of our posts are going to be for the episodes coming up. We'll have comment battles and things like that. So sorry about this episode, guys. We tried our best.
I mean, there's no need to apologize.
I am, because I chose it, and there was really nothing we could go off of because of it. It was like Halloween 3 all over again.
No,
Yeah, sorry, guys. So look forward to some great upcoming content. We had to sprinkle in a little turd for you guys. Just to prepare you guys for some amazing content to come.
Yeah, Friday the 13th, part 2.
Very excited about that being released on Friday the 13th. It's going to be a big day for us here at the J Squared Horror Podcast. We don't get a lot of multi-hangout days because we're both adults in our capacities and doing jobs and life and all sorts of stuff. I've been spending a lot of weekends out of town. So I'm excited that we actually get to not only push ourselves for the podcast, but get to hang out as friends on a day that it means a lot to horror fans.
Yeah.
And maybe we'll be watching along with you guys on Friday.
That'd be great.
We're our biggest fans.
Yeah.
So yeah, thank you guys so much for always tuning into the J Squared Horror Podcast. I would like to say a big shout out to all of our supporters. Jeff Balance, who does our design work. He is also working on a new logo for us right now, which we are excited to bring you guys as soon as it releases. Lucky Riggs, who does our intro and our outro music. We love that guy to death. He's done amazing work for us.
Yeah.
Trademark Printing, who does all of our printing needs. Thank you so much. As you see here on this nice shirt, the hoodies that we wear sometimes, not as cool as a shirt as this guy's wearing, but we do try to have some cool merchandise.
My shirt's not that cool.
A big shout out to Jake for always being willing to sit next to me. Even when he doesn't come up with bad movies to cover, I sure will. So I'm happy that he decides to sit here with me every week, regardless of life and regardless of time, and we're able to put out content for you guys that we hope you enjoy.
Yeah.
So thank you guys so much for tuning in to the J Squared Horror Podcast. My name is Josh.
And I'm Jake.
You guys have a great week, and remember, it's hip to be squared.